Number 10. Rabies, but worse. Rabies already sounds like it was designed by someone trying to invent zombies on purpose. It spreads through bites. It hijacks the brain. It causes aggression, paranoia, confusion, and uncontrollable violence. And once symptoms appear, fatal. Almost 100% of the time. Now imagine a version that spreads faster and incubates longer. That's the terrifying part scientists actually worry about. Rabies doesn't normally spread human to human very well because it kills too fast and shows symptoms too early. People isolate. They get treated. The chain breaks. But viruses mutate. And if a strain evolved that stayed dormant longer, letting infected people move freely, interact, travel, maybe even feel mostly fine for weeks, then suddenly you've got a problem. The behavioral changes would come first. Irritability, aggression, reduced fear, impaired judgment. People wouldn't look like movie zombies right away. They'd look like humans having the worst psychological breakdown imaginable. And here's the kicker. Rabies doesn't just make you violent. It removes inhibition. It shuts down empathy. It cranks up impulsive behavior. That's not undead behavior. That's neurological malfunction. Scientists know exactly how rabies hijacks the nervous system. They know which brain regions it attacks. They just can't fully predict how a future mutation might behave. Basically, the zombie virus already exists. It's just missing a few horrifying upgrades. Number 9. Fungal brain hijacking. There's a fungus right now that turns ants into zombies, not metaphorically, literally. The fungus takes control of the ant's nervous system, forces it to climb to a specific height, locks its jaw in place, and then kills it, using the body to spread spores more efficiently. It's called Ophiocordyceps, and yes, scientists have studied it extensively. No, it does not currently infect humans. But fungi adapting to new hosts is not science fiction, it's biology. As global temperatures rise, fungi are evolving to tolerate higher body heat. That was once a major barrier protecting mammals. That barrier is weakening. Now imagine a fungal infection that doesn't reanimate corpses, but alters behavior. Confusion, disorientation, compulsive movement, reduced pain response, loss of higher reasoning. You wouldn't get movie zombies. You'd get people acting strangely, wandering, not responding properly, spreading spores through coughing, contact, or wounds. And antifungal treatments? Limited, slow, hard on the body. Scientists openly admit fungal infections are one of the most underprepared for threats in medicine. We don't have many tools. We don't have many backups. Basically, nature already perfected mind control. It just hasn't pointed it at us yet. Number 8, prion diseases gone rogue. Prions are not alive, that's what makes them terrifying. They're misfolded proteins that force other proteins in your brain to misfold too. No DNA, no metabolism, no immune response. Your body can't fight them because there's technically nothing there to fight. Diseases like mad cow disease and Creutzfeldt-Jakob already exist. They cause personality changes, aggression, confusion, loss of motor control, and eventually death. And they're always fatal. Now imagine a prion disease that spreads more easily. Through blood, through saliva, through food processing mistakes. The symptoms wouldn't look cinematic at first. People would become erratic, emotionally flat, violent, disconnected from reality. Their brains would literally be degenerating while they're still walking around. And prions are horrifyingly hard to destroy. Heat doesn't work well. Disinfectants struggle. Even surgical tools can transmit them if not handled perfectly. Scientists understand prions well enough to fear them deeply, but not well enough to stop a new one if it emerged suddenly. Basically, your brain could become a biological error that spreads itself. Number 7, parasites that rewrite behavior. There's a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii that already infects a huge chunk of the human population. Most people never notice, no symptoms, no drama. But here's the unsettling part. In animals, this parasite changes behavior on purpose. Infected rats lose their fear of cats. Not just fearlessness, actual attraction. The parasite alters brain chemistry so the rat walks straight into danger, gets eaten, and helps the parasite reproduce. Now apply that logic to humans. Studies have linked toxoplasma infection to increased risk-taking, slower reaction times, impulsive behavior, and personality changes. Nothing extreme, nothing movie-worthy yet. But parasites evolve. and behavior manipulation is already part of their toolkit. A more aggressive strain, one that increases agitation, reduces fear, impairs judgment, or boosts compulsive behavior. Wouldn't need to kill anyone to cause chaos. People would make worse decisions, ignore danger, act unpredictably, spread the parasite faster. And parasites are sneaky. They don't trigger immediate immune panic. They settle in quietly, sometimes permanently. Scientists can study these effects statistically, but they can't ethically experiment with behavioral manipulation at scale, which means we don't fully know where the limits are. Basically, something could already be inside you, gently nudging the dials, and you'd never know. Number 6. Synthetic drugs that break the brain. Some drugs already cause zombie-like behavior. That's not an exaggeration. Certain synthetic stimulants and dissociatives can induce extreme agitation, pain, insensitivity, paranoia, hallucinations, and violent behavior, all while suppressing fear and exhaustion. People don't feel injuries, don't respond to commands, don't recognize familiar faces. Now imagine a compound designed not to get people high, but to hijack behavior. A drug that spreads through contact, aerosols, or contaminated water. One that causes confusion, impulsivity, and aggression without immediately shutting the body down. Something that leaves people mobile, reactive, and unpredictable. The scariest part? Chemistry doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be disruptive enough. Scientists already know how to alter neurotransmitters tied to inhibition, empathy, and impulse control. They know how to keep people awake longer, more reactive, less rational. What they can't fully predict is large-scale behavioral collapse. Brains don't all respond the same way. Some would panic. Some would dissociate. Some would become dangerously fearless. Basically, you wouldn't get zombies. You'd get humans running on corrupted software. Number 5. AI-controlled bioengineering. This is where science fiction stops being fiction. AI is already used to model proteins, simulate mutations, and optimize biological processes. That's incredibly powerful and incredibly dangerous in the wrong hands. A system designed to optimize spread or maximize persistence could theoretically help design pathogens that balance incubation time, behavioral effects, and transmission efficiency. Not undead monsters, but something far worse, something subtle, a disease that doesn't kill quickly. That changes sleep, emotion, attention, or impulse control. That keeps hosts functional long enough to spread. That turns society unstable before anyone realizes what's happening. Scientists and ethicists are actively worried about this. Not because it's inevitable, but because the tools exist. The barrier is no longer knowledge, it's intent and access. And once something is released, you can't unrelease it. Basically, the apocalypse wouldn't look like screaming hordes on day 1. It would look like confusion, aggression, collapse, and then realization. Number 4. Brain inflammation that breaks inhibition. Your brain is protected by something called the blood-brain barrier. It's basically a bouncer that decides what gets in and what absolutely does not. When that barrier fails, things get weird fast. Severe brain inflammation caused by viruses, autoimmune reactions, or toxins can radically alter behavior. We already see this in encephalitis cases. Sudden aggression, confusion, loss of impulse control, paranoia, and emotional flattening. People can become unrecognizable to their families before anyone realizes something is medically wrong. Now scale that up. If an infection caused widespread neuroinflammation without immediately killing people, you'd see mass behavioral instability. Not coordinated monsters, but people acting irrational, violent, detached, or fearless. Social rules would collapse before bodies did. The scariest part? The immune system itself could be the problem. Some infections don't damage neurons directly. They cause the body to attack its own brain tissue by mistake. Scientists understand the pathways. They can explain cytokine storms and neuroimmune crossfire. But stopping it once it's widespread is extremely hard. Basically, your immune system could accidentally turn civilization feral. Number 3. Extreme sleep deprivation at scale. Sleep deprivation already makes people hallucinate. That's not hyperbole. After enough time without sleep, the brain begins dreaming while awake. Reality fractures. Judgment collapses. Emotional regulation disappears. Now imagine a global event that prevents sleep. Constant noise, fear, artificial light, Stress hormones permanently elevated. People sleeping 2 hours a night if that. After days, you'd see paranoia and memory loss. After weeks, psychosis, hallucinations, aggression, loss of identity. People wouldn't need to be infected by anything biological, just trapped in conditions that break the brain. Scientists know sleep is non-negotiable for neurological stability. They also know there's no way to train humans to function without it. Basically, keep people awake long enough, and zombies appear naturally. Number 2, breakdown of social contagion control. Behavior spreads, fear spreads, violence spreads, panic spreads. Humans are wired for social contagion. We unconsciously mirror emotions, actions, and beliefs of those around us. In normal conditions, social norms keep that in check. In crisis conditions, those breaks fail. Once fear becomes dominant, empathy drops. Once aggression becomes normalized, it multiplies. People don't need a virus to act like zombies. They just need to believe survival requires it. Scientists study this in riots, collapses, and mass hysteria. They understand the psychology. What they can't do is stop it once it passes a critical threshold. Basically, the apocalypse doesn't need monsters. It just needs humans copying the worst version of each other. Number 1, a perfect storm, not one cause. Here's the uncomfortable truth. A real zombie apocalypse wouldn't come from one thing. It would come from stacked failures. A disease that alters behavior slightly. Sleep disruption that worsens judgment. Fear that spreads faster than facts. Technology amplifying panic. Systems failing just enough to remove safety nets. None of these alone create zombies. Together, they create something worse. Humans who are alive, mobile, emotional, and completely unmoored from reason. Scientists can explain each piece individually. What they can't fully model is how they interact when everything goes wrong at once. Basically, the apocalypse wouldn't start with the dead rising. It would start with the living unraveling. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.